could have been the original attempt, one of the original attempts. I really would like to see what's at the bottom of that shaft.
Based on numerous recent discoveries this year, the team has good reason to believe that this 80-foot-deep, decayed wooden structure may be connected to the original money pit.
What if the biggest secret of Oak Island wasn't hidden deep underground, but right in plain sight this entire time? For over 200 years, this island has pulled people in with stories of lost treasure, ancient civilizations, and deadly traps designed to protect something no one was ever meant to find. Countless teams have searched, drilled, and risked everything chasing answers, but every discovery only made the mystery deeper. Until now. In Season 13, Episode 16 of The Curse of Oak Island, something happened that no one saw coming. Not a golden artifact, not a hidden tunnel, but a single overlooked boulder, silent, ordinary, and completely ignored for years. Because sometimes, the biggest secrets don't look like secrets at all. When new scans finally revealed what was hiding beneath that stone, everything changed. This wasn't just another clue. It was a discovery that challenged everything the team thought they knew. Why was this boulder placed so precisely? What was it protecting? And who had the knowledge and power to put it there? As the team began to dig, what they uncovered sent shockwaves through the entire operation. This wasn't just part of the mystery anymore. This was the moment the mystery turned. The discovery that could finally answer a question asked for centuries, or expose something even bigger than anyone imagined. This is the boulder that changed everything. If you want to uncover what they found next, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, because this mystery is only getting deeper, and the truth might be closer than ever. When Rick Lagina stepped onto Lot 8 that morning and saw the exposed structure, his reaction said it all before he spoke a word. The formation wasn't random. One side showed a clear, intentional design, uneven, yet undeniably man-made. It didn't belong to nature. And then came the realization. The boulder they had removed just days earlier weighed nearly 40,000 pounds, around 20 tons. It hadn't simply fallen into place. It had been carefully positioned over a ring of smaller stones, almost like a cradle, sealing whatever lay beneath it. This wasn't coincidence. It was engineering. Whoever put it there had a plan. They understood weight, balance, and concealment at a level that required skill, time, and coordination. Moving something that massive without modern equipment would have demanded ropes, levers, rollers, and a team that knew exactly what they were doing. This wasn't random effort. It was deliberate. And the purpose? To hide something so well, it would remain untouched for centuries. When the boulder was finally lifted, what lay underneath wasn't natural ground. The team found tightly packed soil forming what appeared to be a man-made shaft, filled in by human hands, then sealed with a stone the size of a small house. It had remained undisturbed for longer than anyone could trace. Archaeologist Fiona Steele made it clear. She had never encountered anything like this. Not on Oak Island, and not anywhere in Nova Scotia. With years of experience studying natural formations and historical sites, she recognized immediately that this structure didn't match anything formed by nature. As the team stood at the edge, looking down into the ancient backfilled shaft, one thing became undeniable. This site existed long before any recorded search effort, and somewhere beneath it, something was waiting. Then came the moment that changed everything again. Geoscientist Ian Spooner arrived with a handheld XRF scanner and began testing soil samples taken from beneath the boulder. As the device processed the data, his screen lit up. Silver. Not trace amounts, not background noise. Real, measurable concentrations. Levels he had never seen anywhere else on the island. He stared at the readings, then at the team. Silence filled the air. And then Rick laughed, because sometimes, when reality becomes impossible to ignore, that's the only reaction left. This discovery wasn't just exciting, it was significant. The soil being tested didn't come from the surface. It came from inside a sealed, carefully constructed feature. The silver wasn't drifting in from outside sources. It was contained within the very structure someone had gone to extreme lengths to hide. And here's what makes it even more powerful. Ian Spooner had analyzed samples from all across Oak Island, the money pit, the swamp, multiple excavation zones. yet never once had he recorded silver like this. Only here, only beneath that boulder, only inside this hidden feature. The team arrived at Lot 8 expecting another layer of mystery, another clue that might lead somewhere, eventually. Instead, they found something rare for Oak Island, a clear signal pointing in one direction. Whatever is buried below, it's exactly where it was meant to be. And what those readings suggest may reveal something even deeper, an ancient method, a forgotten system, and a secret that time almost erased. Someone had been lighting fires deep beneath Oak Island, not by chance, but with purpose. These weren't random burns. They were controlled underground fires, used as a ventilation system to push air through deep shafts, so workers could keep breathing and continue digging. This technique isn't guesswork. It's a documented medieval European mining method, famously used in places like Cornwall. And that detail changes everything, because using fire this way means one thing. The shaft went so deep that oxygen became a problem. Whoever was working beneath Lot 8 wasn't digging casually. They had gone far enough underground to need engineered airflow just to survive. The traces of lead found in the soil are the chemical fingerprints of that process. When fires burn in enclosed underground spaces over long periods, they leave behind lead residues, embedded in the walls, mixed into the soil, trapped within the backfilled layers once the work is done. That's exactly what Ian Spooner detected. And the depth of those traces matters. These weren't surface-level anomalies. They were found deep within the structure, consistent with something extending downward, not a shallow pit, but a true shaft. But here's the part that isn't being emphasized enough. This kind of system requires expertise, not basic knowledge, specialized, practiced understanding, passed down through generations. The ability to dig deep, manage airflow, and construct stable underground spaces isn't something improvised. It belongs to a specific tradition, tied to a place, a culture, and a time. Now, look at everything together. The silver readings, the lead residues, the evidence of controlled fire, the sealed shaft, and that massive 40,000-pound capstone. Every piece is telling the same story. This wasn't random. This wasn't accidental. This was the work of people who knew exactly what they were doing, how to dig deep, how to keep workers alive underground, and how to seal whatever they found in a way that would last for centuries. Someone brought that knowledge to a small island off the coast of Nova Scotia, buried something beneath it, locked it under 20 tons of stone, and disappeared without a trace. Then came a discovery that made things even stranger. Archaeologist Fiona Steele uncovered a tightly compacted layer of stones beneath the backfilled soil. These weren't scattered naturally. They were arranged, built. As she exposed more of the layer, the pattern became undeniable. She turned to Spooner and asked the question directly. Was this just her imagination, or was it truly unnatural? He didn't hesitate. It wasn't natural. The composition didn't match any geological formation he had ever studied. Not on Oak Island, not anywhere in Nova Scotia. Even more puzzling, organic material was woven through the stones in a way that made no sense for a natural process, but perfect sense if humans had constructed it. He was stunned. And when a scientist reaches that point, it means something fundamental no longer fits the explanation. What they were looking at wasn't random rock. It was structure, a deliberate layer, almost like a stone floor, carefully fitted together, resting within material that had accumulated over a very long time. As Fiona continued clearing the area, the design only became clearer. Then she identified something even more revealing, a circular boundary. Around the base of the feature, stones had been placed in a defined ring, forming a precise perimeter, not shaped by erosion, not sleuthily formed, but intentionally arranged piece by piece, creating a boundary around what lay beneath. A ring of stone, a sealed shaft, and above it all, a 40,000-pound boulder acting as a cap. Whatever this structure is, it wasn't built quickly, and it certainly wasn't built by amateurs. Standing at the edge, Rick Lagina put it into perspective. After years of working with stone, even he struggled to understand how something like this could have been constructed, and more importantly, why. Because no one goes to that level of effort without a reason. And on Oak Island, that reason has always pointed to one word: value. For over 200 years, this island has drawn people in with that same promise. Since 1795, fortunes have been spent, lives have been lost, and entire expeditions have come and gone, chasing whatever might be hidden here. And every discovery has faced the same lingering doubt. Was it left behind by those searching, or by those hiding something? This time, the answer may be different. When Marty Lagina reviewed the footage, he noticed something critical. This entire feature, the boulder, the stone ring, the shaft, doesn't appear in any historical record. No previous excavation mentions it. No earlier searchers disturbed it. It simply wasn't documented. That realization changes everything. Because for the first time in over 2 centuries, the team may be looking at something exactly as it was originally left. Untouched, unaltered, unseen by modern eyes. Every expedition before them missed it. Every drill, every dig, every survey. And now, Rick and Marty Lagina are standing at its edge, staring into ground no one has examined in over 200 years. Possibly much longer. Then came a theory that ties it all together. Fiona Steele believes the structure points to a European origin, specifically, a megalithic style of construction. This isn't just about stacking large stones. It's a defined architectural approach, using massive stones combined with smaller, carefully placed materials to create structures with purpose, often ceremonial, sometimes functional. This tradition is well known across Western Europe, especially along the Atlantic coast. And according to her analysis, the design at Lot 8 matches that pattern. Rick agreed. The evidence was pointing in one direction, and no one on the team disagreed. And there's more. Back in 1849, deep within the money pit, the central shaft that started the entire mystery, a silver coin was recovered. Not just any coin, but a Portuguese coin dating back to the 1300s. Portugal, 14th century. Found deep underground in a highly engineered shaft. A shaft that featured wooden platforms every 10 feet. Flood tunnels designed to stop intruders. A system so complex it could only have been built by skilled planners and engineers. Whoever created it wasn't experimenting. They knew exactly what they were doing, and they were protecting something valuable enough to design one of the most elaborate underground systems ever discovered. Then came the connection Marty Lagina pointed out, one that instantly changed the atmosphere. Back in 2020, the team uncovered a stone roadway in the southeastern section of the swamp on Oak Island. Analysis suggested it could be over 500 years old, with strong indications of Portuguese origin. Now, think about that for a second. 2 completely separate discoveries on the same island, possibly built centuries apart, yet both pointing back to the same source. And now there's a third. The Lot 8 structure, with its circular stone ring, sealed shaft, silver-rich soil, and evidence of underground fire use, fits into that same pattern. Put it all together, and the picture becomes almost unbelievable. A group crosses the Atlantic long before Christopher Columbus. They navigate to a small island off what is now Nova Scotia. They choose a precise location. They dig a shaft so deep it requires fire ventilation just to survive. They place something at the bottom, then they carefully refill the shaft, construct a stone ring, and cap it with a 40,000-pound boulder. And when it's done, they erase every trace of themselves and leave. That's not random work. That's not desperation. That's a coordinated mission, planned, resourced, and executed with discipline and secrecy. Marty raised the possibility that the Lot 8 structure and that 14th century Portuguese coin recovered from the money pit could be connected, part of the same operation carried out by the same people with the same purpose. If that's true, then this isn't just another mystery on Oak Island. It's evidence of an organized European presence here, long before any known colonial activity. A presence that brought something valuable enough to bury beneath 20 tons of stone, and important enough to hide forever. If proven, it could rewrite the history of Nova Scotia. So, what happens next? Rick Lagina made the team's approach clear. There will be no rushing, no reckless digging. Instead, they'll begin by creating detailed cross-sections of the structure, mapping everything before removing even a single additional layer. Only then will they carefully work downward, one layer at a time. And that patience is critical, because Oak Island has seen what happens when teams move too fast. Collapsed shafts, destroyed evidence, flood systems triggered by a single wrong move. The Laginas have always done things differently. They document first, they analyze, they consult. And when something this significant appears, this intact, this precise, they slow everything down, because once disturbed, whatever lies below can never be replaced. But there's one detail no one can fully explain. The site is clean. No tools, no fragments, no rope, no buttons, no coins, no debris of any kind. Nothing. And that absence is just as powerful as any discovery. Either time erased every trace of the builders, or those builders removed everything themselves before leaving. Both possibilities point to the same conclusion. This was deliberate, careful, almost obsessive in its execution. Rick immediately understood what that meant. Either someone went to extraordinary lengths to hide their work, or the site is so old that nothing remains. And on an island where every new discovery pushes the timeline further back, that idea carries serious weight. What began as theories tied to the 1700s shifted to the 1600s, then the 1400s. Now, with the soil chemistry, the construction style, and the Portuguese coin, the evidence may be pointing even further back, possibly to a time before Columbus ever crossed the Atlantic, a time when the ocean wasn't a barrier, but a route, and this island, a destination. The complete absence of artifacts tells its own story. These weren't settlers. They weren't explorers passing through. They came here for one specific purpose. They completed it, and they left. Whatever they buried mattered enough to cross an ocean, deep enough to require fire just to breathe while digging, important enough to seal beneath 20 tons of stone, and never return. Ian Spooner said it best. If this much effort went into the structure, then there has to be something more here, something significant, something worth all of it. And Fiona Steele, after studying the stone ring, the shaft, and the unexpected silver readings, reached the same conclusion the evidence was pointing toward. There could be treasure below. Now, everything comes down to what lies beneath the next layer. Once the team carefully removes the stones and completes the cross-sections, they'll finally see whether the structure continues deeper, and whether those underground fire signatures lead to a shaft that has never been opened in the entire recorded history of Oak Island. The next excavation might finally answer a question that has lasted for centuries, or uncover something no one was ever supposed to find.